The question no one expected asterisk. How does an album that barely moves 100 copies in a single day suddenly appear on one of the most closely watched real-time charts in K-pop? Why is a release that many assumed had already completed its commercial life quietly resurfacing, blinking at number 53 on the Hanteo real-time album chart as if to ask the industry a question it isn't ready to answer? And perhaps the most unsettling question of all, what does it mean when an album like Layover refuses to disappear, even when the number seems small, almost invisible at first glance? At first, it looked like nothing. A subtle update on a chart that refreshes minute by minute. No announcements, no press releases, no urgent notifications from entertainment media. Just a name that fans know all too well, sitting calmly at number 53, supported by nearly 100 copies sold in real time. In an industry obsessed with explosive debuts, million-seller headlines, and dramatic chart battles, this kind of appearance should not have mattered. And yet, it did, because this was Layover, and Layover has never behaved like a normal album. When Hanteo's real-time chart updated and showed Layover charting once again, the reaction wasn't loud at first. There were no immediate trending hashtags, no mass celebrations. Instead, there was confusion. Screenshots circulated quietly among fans. Messages appeared in group chats, asking the same thing in different words. Is this real? Why now? Did anyone else see this? The surprise wasn't that Layover sold almost 100 copies. The surprise was that it did so without being pushed, promoted, or even mentioned by official channels that end K-pop. Silence is rarely accidental. Released as a deeply personal body of work, Layover was never designed to chase numbers in the traditional sense. From the beginning, it positioned itself differently. It did not scream for attention. It whispered. It invited listeners into a mood rather than a moment, into a space that felt timeless rather than urgent. And because of that, many assumed its commercial story had already been written. Initial charting, first week sales, critical discussions, and then a gradual fade into legacy status. That is how it usually goes, except Layover did not fade. Instead, it lingered. It resurfaced in conversations long after release week. It reappeared in playlists. It became something fans returned to rather than something they moved on from. And now, with its unexpected appearance at number 53 on the Hanteo real-time album chart, supported by nearly 100 copies sold, it was asking a new question. What if longevity matters more than noise? To understand why this moment feels strangely significant, it's important to understand what the Hanteo real-time album chart represents. Unlike weekly or monthly charts that smooth out fluctuations, real-time charts capture raw behavior. They reflect immediate purchases as they happen. Every copy sold is a conscious decision made by someone at that moment. There is no nostalgia adjustment, no retrospective framing. It is simply people choosing, right now, to buy this album. That is what makes this appearance so intriguing. Nearly 100 people independently at roughly the same time decided to purchase Layover. Not during a comeback. Not during an anniversary event. Not during a fan-driven bulk buy campaign announced across social media. Just quietly, naturally, almost organically, and that raises another question that can't be ignored. Who are these buyers? Some are undoubtedly longtime fans, returning to the album after months and deciding that digital streaming wasn't enough anymore. Others may be new listeners, discovering Layover through word of mouth, playlists, or recommendations, and wanting a physical copy to hold on to. There may even be collectors who delayed their purchase, waiting for the right moment. But regardless of the individual reasons, the collective result is the same. The album is still moving, in an era where attention spans are measured in hours and trends expire overnight. An album quietly selling nearly 100 copies and re-entering a real-time chart is not normal behavior. It suggests emotional attachment rather than hype. It suggests resonance rather than promotion. And that is far more difficult to manufacture. What makes this moment even more curious is the ranking itself. Number 53 is not a dramatic top 10 headline, but it is a position that places Layover among albums actively competing in the present. This isn't a legacy chart or a throwback list. This is a space where current releases fight for visibility, and Layover is there, holding its place, without making a sound. Industry watchers know that albums don't accidentally chart on Hanteo. Even small numbers reflect deliberate action. Nearly 100 copies sold in real time means momentum, however subtle. It means there is movement. And movement, in in a market as crowded as K-pop, is always worth paying attention to. For fans, the emotional response has been layered and complex. There is pride, of course. Pride that an album so personal and artistically driven continues to be chosen. There is surprise, because few expected to see Layover charting again in this way. But there is also a quiet satisfaction, a feeling that this moment somehow validates what they felt all along. That Layover was never about immediate domination. It was about staying. Social media reactions began to surface slowly. Not explosive, but steady. A screenshot here, a comment there. It's still charting. People are still buying. This album refuses to leave. Each message carried an undertone of disbelief mixed with something else. Recognition, because Layover has always existed slightly outside the usual framework of K-pop success. Its sound leaned into jazz, R&B, and soft pop influences that prioritized atmosphere over intensity. Its visuals were understated, cinematic, almost introspective. It didn't chase virality. It trusted the listener to sit with it. That trust seems to be paying off in ways that charts don't always immediately reveal. When albums explode at debut, their story is loud and clear. When albums linger, their story is quieter, but often more profound. 100 copies sold today might not seem like much in isolation. But when it happens long after release, without external triggers, it becomes a statement. It says that the album is still alive in people's minds. And that brings us back to the central mystery. Why now? Was there a recent moment, interview, or performance that reignited interest? Was there a subtle shift in listener behavior as fans revisit meaningful music during quieter times? Or is this simply the natural rhythm of an album that was never meant to burn fast and disappear? The truth may be a combination of all these factors. Or it may be something even simpler. Perhaps Layover is just doing what it was always designed to do. Exist at its own pace, immune to trends, waiting patiently for listeners to find it when they are ready. What cannot be denied is the emotional weight of this charting moment. For fans who have defended Layover as a deeply artistic and sincere project, seeing it chart again feels like quiet vindication. It is not loud success, but it is enduring relevance. And in the long run, that can be far more powerful. As the Hanteo real-time chart continues to update, the position of Layover may change. It may rise. It may fall. It may disappear again for a while. But the fact that it reappeared at all, supported by real purchases from real people, has already added a new chapter to its story. And this chapter is not about numbers alone. It is about presence, about memory, about the strange, beautiful way music finds its way back into people's lives when they least expect it. This is only the beginning of that story.